According to data from Allied Industry, the North American auto repair industry was estimated at $78.4 billion in 2022. And according to a Cox Automotive study, 7 in 10 customers don't come back to the dealer for service. And the 3 reasons they cite are convenience, perceived cost, and trust. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to overcome all 3 of those items and take back those customers that are leaving your stores. Item number 1, convenience. Are we any less convenient than the aftermarket shops? I don't think so. My dealer, Premier Subaru in Branford, Connecticut, will come to my house, drop off a loaner car, pick up my car for service, whether it's customer pay or warranty, service it, wash it, vacuum, and then bring it back to me. That's pretty convenient. I've pulled into some service departments where it says express service only to have the advisor ask me, what day next week would you like to come in? No, I don't want to come in next week. The sign said express. Express means now. So if you're going to put a sign on the building that says express, you need to honor that commitment. Price. Are we any less or more expensive than the aftermarket? No, we're not. You need to shop the top 3 competitors in your market, and you need to get pricing for the types of jobs that you do, parts, tax, and labor out the door, including all fees. And you need to share those numbers with your customers coming in. Now, the important thing here to realize is that you don't need to be the least expensive. You just need to be in the game. In this post, I will also include a couple of videos that not only talk about how to do it, but also what to say. And you'll find that customers will pay more for the convenience of having service done that fits their time schedule. And the third is trust. We have factory trained technicians. We have the best facilities. And these technicians only work on that particular model or brand. So the chances are good that they're not going to have a better experience anywhere else, but we're not doing a good enough job to communicate that. Now, since the first point of defection is tires, it makes sense that that's the first plan of attack. You need to let everybody know that you're in the tire business. And that conversation happens from moment 1 on your website. It's very important to communicate to your customer, what the importance of tires are and how it affects the safety and performance of your vehicle. I have a video in this thread that will teach you how to have that conversation. Make a video that shows the customer the increased stopping distance from a set of tires that need replacement. Compare that to the stopping distance from a pair of tires that are new. That makes it an emotional purchase for them. They can understand that. And the best time to have that conversation with them in store is when they're picking up their car, when they don't need tires. And explain the value of them coming to your service department, because each time they come in, you're going to do a multi-point inspection, which includes looking over that and much more. Tell them what you're going to do and why you're doing it. So that by the time they need tires, 4 visits later, 6 visits later, they already know you're in the tire business, and since you didn't try to sell them tires from moment 1, they understand that you care, and that builds up a certain level of trust. When that car comes in each time and you measure the tires, you make note of it. You know, based on the brand of tire, how many miles are expected out of it. So if a car comes in August, and based on your measurements along the way, you've determined that in October they're going to need a new set of tires, this is a good conversation to have. Listen, you're familiar with what we do regarding tires. And based on the measurements that we obtained today, we estimate that in October you're going to need new tires. So what I'd like you to do is pop in September. It's only going to take a moment or so, and we'll be able to tell you whether or not you need the tires then. It's a lot easier to plan for it ahead of time than to wait for an emergency and then have to deal with it later. Now, here's where it gets interesting. You could wait for them to show up in October and hope, but I wouldn't do that. What I would do is create an opcode in your DMS and you call it September tires. That way you have a way in September to run that September tire opcode to determine all of the cars that are in your database that are going to need new tires in October, and you can proactively reach out to them via phone call, text, and email. Don't leave it to chance. Proactively seek that business. They'll appreciate it and they'll come in for the work. The only time people go somewhere else is if they don't think that you're taking good care of them. And while we're on the subject of all the cars we lose, it's a common perception that once a car goes out of warranty, there's no need to go to the dealer for service. What a fallacy. Are you telling me that older cars don't benefit from going to the service department at a dealership? I don't think so. So here's a novel concept if you want to gain back some of those older cars. Have a sliding scale labor rate and introduce the possibility of aftermarket parts. Now, are they as good as the dealer's parts? One could argue that either way depending on who you work for. But the reality is, based on Cox's study, 2.33 more service is sold in the aftermarket than at the dealership. So how bad can those parts really be? If I have the conversation with you, hey Mr. Jones, I realize you have an older car, we want your business. In the past, customers wouldn't come back to the dealer because they thought we were more expensive. Well, I've got great news for you. For cars 10 years or older, or whatever cutoff you want to make, our labor rate is X. It's less than what the labor rate is on a brand new car. We also give the option of aftermarket parts. Now, I'm going to explain to you, here's what an original equipment part looks like, and here's the type of quality and how long you can expect it to last and what the warranty is. Now, if price is an issue, we have a couple of different ways we can approach it. One, we have payment plans. We have different programs where we can extend the payments for you. Or we can use an aftermarket part made by whatever aftermarket parts company you want to use. You explain to them what the difference is in price, what the difference is in quality, and you give them the option to make the decision. More often than not, somebody will choose the better part and figure out how to pay for it if they trust that the information you're giving them is honest and looking out for their best interest. So the three reasons why people don't come back to you: convenience, price, and trust. You've got some great ammo here to take back that business. But as with any information that you gain, unless you take action, it's absolutely meaningless. If you have any questions on how to implement, pick up the phone and call or inbox me.